I'm attorney Mark Nicholson from the Law Office of Mark Nicholson, also known as the Battery Man, for my focus on battery cases, on criminal battery cases. Now, on October 11th of 2025, just yesterday, Indianapolis religious leader Jeffrey Allen Johnson Sr. was arrested by the Fishers Police Department on domestic battery charges. This longtime pastor, who served Eastern Star Church for 37 years, a church that my wife and I attend and are members of, and he just stepped down in 2025. He's now facing serious criminal allegations that could dramatically impact his future and reputation, and actually they already have. The high-profile arrest serves as a stark reminder that domestic battery charges don't discriminate. They can devastate anyone's life, regardless of social standing or professional reputation. According to Hamilton County jail records, Jeffrey Johnson Sr. was arrested at his residence in Fishers at approximately 8:47 p.m. on October 11th of 2025. The Fishers Police Department booked him into the Hamilton County Jail. Basically, that's about it, and he's facing pretrial detention status. The charge, domestic battery, and that's classified in Indiana as a misdemeanor under Indiana law. Now, the incident that led to his actual arrest that occurred at his home, specific details are not really available. However, there was a statement made by one of his sons who mentioned that his brother, the son's brother, which apparently would be Jeffrey Johnson's son, Pastor Johnson's son, was going through some kind of mental health crisis or something and was being aggressive to his mother, which would be the wife of Pastor Johnson. And Pastor Johnson, in defense of his wife, stepped in and then called the police. Now, what makes this interesting is that, he's very popular, is very, very well respected in this community, and all the work that he's done helping people, people navigate the legal system, people navigating through crisis of their own, and now he's facing that himself. He just wasn't any community member. He is a prominent religious figure who's led Eastern Star in both Fishers, Indianapolis locations. He has a couple locations here. He guided this congregation and built this reputation as one of the most respected spiritual leaders in Indianapolis and basically in Indiana, period. Now, this arrest has sent shockwave through the religious community and serves as a powerful example of how quickly domestic battery allegations can destroy kind of like a lifetime of work. And the reason why I say that is because people on the Facebook and, they're just saying all this negative stuff instead of actually having all the facts, kind of like Mark Sanchez, right? Mark Sanchez, they acting like he was a victim, then he actually ends up being charged. This may be a case where the flip is a reverse, where Pastor Johnson is actually the victim in this case, and he gets charged. Because, look, first of all, criminal charges can happen to anyone, regardless of your standing. And when that happens, you do need aggressive legal representation when you're facing such serious accusation. Now, let's talk a little bit about Indiana domestic battery laws. Now, Indiana takes domestic battery charges, just like they do all charges, extremely serious, and the consequences can be life-altering. Here's what you need to know about domestic violence laws in Indiana. Essentially, what constitutes domestic battery in Indiana. And this is the part I think got a lot of people kind of tripped up. See, under Indiana Code 3542-2-1.3, domestic battery occurs when a person knowingly or intentionally touches another family member or household member in a rude, insolent, or angry manner. The law also covers situations involving deadly weapons or when the battery results in bodily injury. Now, the relationship between the person being accused and the alleged victim is crucial. Indiana's domestic battery statute applies to current or former spouses, people who live or lived together, people who have a child together, people who are dating or have dated, and family members related by blood or adoption. So you see, what I'm talking about is, though, people are saying, oh, domestic battery, automatically assuming that this was some kind of attack on his wife, that he battered his wife. That does not seem to be the case based upon what his son has said and some of the reports I've seen, where it seems to be that he was actually defending his wife, defending another, which is a defense, a legal defense in the state of Indiana. Look, if you're in your own home, I don't care who it is. If they're over there trying to attack your wife, you're going to defend your wife. You're going to defend your wife. That's just common sense. This is potentially a Class A misdemeanor charge, which is the basic level of domestic battery. However, don't let a misdemeanor label fool you. The consequences are still severe, especially someone of his stature. You could still facing up to a year in jail. Probably not going to happen. Fines up to $5,000, probation requirements, mandatory domestic violence counseling, potential no contact orders, loss of firearms, permanent criminal record, and there are enhanced penalties for domestic battery if there's a prior domestic violence conviction. The battery involved a deadly weapon, battery resulted in moderate or serious bodily injury. The incident occurred in front of a child under the age of 16. In these situations, charges can escalate to a felony, carrying potential prison sentences of several years, higher fines. So, listen, this is serious. What you can expect, usually on domestic battery cases, you got to be held for a certain period of time before you actually release and can get a bond. Then you have the first court appearance where the person is told about their charges and the bond, and if they're going to hire an attorney, those kind of things. Domestic battery cases typically follow the initial hearing, usually within 48, 72 hours. It's unfortunate that Monday is a holiday, so it kind of slows the process down. Formal charges are read at their arraignment, pretrial conference where you're letting them know about the case management, the next court dates, things like that, plea agreements. The entire process can take several months, during which the person accused, reputation, employment, personal relationship, all that stuff remain in jeopardy. That's why it's important to get legal representation as soon as possible. Now, the Pastor Johnson's case illustrates a crucial point. When facing battery charges, every minute counts. Here's why you cannot afford to wait. Evidence preservation. The prosecution is already trying to build their case against you. They're trying to collect any kind of police body cam. They're going to go to the 911 call that he made, witness statements, if there's any medical reports, photographs of any alleged injury. All of this without really you have an opportunity to contest this. That crucial evidence could exonerate you. It might disappear or become unavailable. Or you leave it in the hands of the police to try to get in there and get it. Many people don't realize that you are inadvertently damaging the case from the moment you're arrested if you leave everything to the police. Speaking to the police without an attorney present, attempting to contact the alleged victim, posting stuff on social media about an incident, failing to document their own injuries or the circumstances. You got to write this stuff down so you don't forget. The stakes are higher for public figures. Pastor Johnson's arrest demonstrates, basically all public. I mean, it's all over social media. And then, what kind of damage does it do to the reputation when he's being charged with this and people don't have all the facts and they get in there and say, oh, this was against his wife. I don't have all the facts. All I know is from what I've read and what his son has said. If someone is charged with battery, we begin working on the case as soon as possible, as soon as that person hires me. If the person is in jail, we file for a bond hearing to try to get the person released. We try to get as much evidence as we can from law enforcement, from interviews, from doing depositions, medical records, photographs. We try to leave no stone unturned. Alternative explanations for alleged injuries, and also the legal issue of defense of others or defense of yourself. There are also people don't always understand that sometimes people make false allegations. And also negotiating if it needs to come to that, right? Where someone says, hey, I want to plead guilty. We negotiate to try to get them a plea that they like. Indiana law, like I said, self-defense allows you to protect yourself from attack. If you are defending yourself from aggression, we'll work to try to show that. Also, you can defend your spouse. You can defend a third person. You can defend someone, right? So once again, this situation, like I said, involving Pastor Johnson is very serious, like all charges when people are charged with a crime are serious. But it's just so unfortunate because my heart was broken when I saw the picture and I saw the article, and people were just jumping to this conclusion that it was some kind of domestic battery against his wife. Let's listen to all the facts. Let's hear what has to be said. The probable cause affidavit, as far as I know, hasn't even been written yet. So there hasn't been an official statement from the prosecutor's officer, from the police officer writing the probable cause affidavit about what happened. But we did get transparency from the family at church when the son got in there and talked about it. And this is the case. In the end, I hope when all the facts come out, that this is a case where he was in the right, that he was defending himself or defense of another, which is his wife, and this case ends up getting dismissed or gets no filed, because that can be a possibility too, that it gets no filed. Well, that's your Nicholson Nugget of the day. Please have a fantastic Indigenous Peoples Day, and please be sure to like and subscribe.